Today, we're going to dive into something really interesting and maybe a little personal. It's a trait called hyper-awareness, and for a lot of people, it starts way back in childhood. We're going to break down 5 signs, and I have a feeling some of these are going to sound very familiar to you.
So let me just ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room and just, boom, you immediately get a sense of the vibe? Like before anyone's even said a word, you can just feel it. You know if there's tension, you know the mood, you can practically taste the unspoken energy in the air. If you're nodding right now, then you're definitely in the right place.
See, what you're feeling is something called hyper-awareness. And here's the thing, it's not a flaw at all. It's actually a really sophisticated survival skill. It's what your brain built to help you navigate a childhood that was maybe more about adapting to unpredictability than it was about feeling safe and secure. And let's be super clear here, this is so much more than just being on edge or anxious all the time. Think of it like a superpower. It's a highly tuned-in state of mind that lets you see, hear, and feel all the little details that most people they just miss them entirely. So what does this actually look like in your day-to-day life? Let's jump right into the very first sign.
Number 1 is a big one. You're constantly scanning your environment. It's almost second nature, right? If you grew up with any kind of tension, you learned to walk into a room and immediately do a quick scan. You're reading people, you're assessing the mood, trying to figure out how you should act, or maybe more importantly, what you shouldn't say to avoid causing any trouble.
And that right there, that's why it can feel almost impossible to truly relax. This quote just nails it, because part of your brain learned that a quiet moment, a moment of calm, that was often the silence before the storm. So that internal scanner just never really wants to power down. Okay, so let's move on to the second sign. You'll see how these start to connect. You have this almost supernatural ability to read what's going on underneath the surface. You can read people's hidden intentions. Other people might just hear the words someone is saying, but you're picking up on everything else. The tiny shift in their tone, the way their eyes move, that split second of hesitation. You're running on pure instinct. Now, this skill is totally a double-edged sword. On one hand, this incredible emotional awareness makes you one of the most empathetic people around. You can genuinely feel what other people are going through. But on the flip side, it makes you, pretty cautious. You've learned that words don't always match intentions, so you're very careful about who you trust. All right, let's look at sign number 3. This is where we turn that powerful scanner inward. Yeah, you are intensely self-aware. This whole thing isn't just about reading other people, it's about constantly monitoring yourself too. If you were criticized a lot as a kid, you probably learned to analyze your own words, your own tone, your every move, just to make sure you weren't accidentally giving someone a reason to be upset with you. Does this sound familiar to you? Lying awake at night, just replaying a conversation from earlier in the day, wondering, did I say something weird? Did that come across okay? That constant internal questioning is a classic sign. It's totally exhausting, but it comes from that deep-seated need to manage how people see you, all in the name of staying safe. Okay, on to our 4th sign. This one is all about trying to see into the future. Number 4, you're always trying to predict every single possible outcome. People with hyper-awareness are often incredible overthinkers, but there's a really good reason for it. It's your brain's attempt to get some control. You learned early on that if you could just stay one step ahead of a situation, you could maybe, just maybe, protect yourself from getting hurt. So the motivation isn't just to worry. It's actually a strategy. By playing out all the what-ifs, you're giving yourself a feeling of being prepared. It's your way of trying to get a handle on a world that, as we all know, can be completely unpredictable. And that brings us to our 5th and final sign, and this one is a really big deal. You trust your gut feeling way, way more than you trust what people actually say. Your brain learned a hard lesson a long time ago. Words can lie. People can say one thing and feel something completely different. So you learn to trust the data that can't lie, the energy someone gives off, their body language, that little feeling in your stomach. That's your real truth detector. Let's just look at it like this. Most people are operating on one channel. They hear the words, they get the literal meaning, the surface stuff. But you're processing on a whole different frequency. You're hearing the tone, you're sensing the energy, you're looking for the hidden intentions. It's like you're perceiving reality in high definition. So as we start to wrap this up, if you've been sitting here and this all just deeply resonates with you, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not too sensitive. You are not overthinking.
You have to start seeing this for what it really is. This is a rare and incredible form of strength. It's proof of how resilient you are, how you manage to adapt to situations that required a level of mental and emotional gymnastics that most people can't even imagine.
I just want to leave you with this idea right here. Every single one of these traits we talked about was built in quiet moments, moments that nobody else even saw. It's a kind of strength, a kind of maturity that you earned. You built an amazing toolkit for understanding the world. So here's the final question, and it's for you to carry with you. Your past explains why you have these patterns, but does it have to define your future? Knowing where this strength comes from, how will you choose to use it now? Maybe that looks like practicing mindfulness to gently quiet that scanner when you know you're safe. Or maybe it's using your deep intuition to set really firm, healthy boundaries. Your past built the tools, but you, and only you, get to decide what you build next.